everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota State Fair. I'm NPR News host Angela Davis. So good to see all of you.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, thanks for being here. As you can see, I have lots of people on the stage with me today for a very special North Star Journey live recording. With me, we have legendary Minnesota musician Cornbread Harris. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play some music. We're going to tell some stories, have some fun. I do appreciate you sitting down and joining us for this conversation or listening to this on my show, which airs at 9 o'clock in the morning on weekdays. So some of you may have heard about a new book that's out there, just released by Minnesota journalist Andrea Swinson. Andrea is right here with me. Hi, Andrea. So good to see you.
Hi, Angela.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having me here.
Yes.
Smiley dimpled one.
Yeah, the smiley dimpled one. Okay, you've got a fan here today. You may know Andrea from her time as a host at our sister station, The Current, or you may know her from the official Prince podcast, which she hosts. She is super talented. And as we are here today, Andrea, we're going to be talking about this new book called Deeper Blues, The Life, Songs, and Salvation of Cornbread Harris.
No kidding.
A lot to cover. And Cornbread, I do want to start with you. My first question. You are 97 years old. Right. 97.
All right, hello.
All right now. 97 years old, and it seems that you really have had a blessed life. You have so many people who love you.
I am a blessed dude.
You're a blessed dude.
Yeah.
Tell me, when you say you are blessed, what does that mean? What are you thinking when you tell people, I'm blessed?
Okay. Well, what it means, I'm blessed. I could have been not existing in the world at all. I could have been not ever existed. But I am existing. I was given birth. I was raised from a little bitty baby in all kind of different foster homes. And finally ended up with my grandparents. And they finished raising me up. And the blessing is God was with me all the way. Every inch of the way, He was there. So my mantra is, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God the Father. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And I just hope I didn't miss nobody.
I think you covered it. Thank you, Cornbread.
Yeah.
Andrea, we heard Cornbread describe being a blessed dude in the years that you two have been having conversations. He says that quite a bit. But the title of the book is actually Deeper Blues. So I'm just curious, as you came to think of a title, why did you choose Deeper Blues as the title? Why not call it A Blessed Dude?
Did Cornbread tell you to ask me that? We've had many conversations about this. So it was initially titled A Blessed Dude, and then I Am a Blessed Dude, a Cornbread Harris story. Mm-hmm. And as we got to knowing each other, we've been visiting each other for now 3.5 years almost. And I go to his house every Tuesday, and he sits at his piano, and every single time that I visit him, he plays me his song, Deeper Blues. And it's been such a theme of our meetings and of his life story. And the lyrics are kind of woven throughout the book and all of these things that he's gone through and overcome in his life. It just became a theme of the whole work. So it was a toss-up. And we had many debates. Jimmy Jam weighed in as well. There were many discussions about this, but eventually we landed on Deeper Blues.
So the overall theme of the book, a lot of it is like documenting history here in Minnesota, the music industry, but there's also a very compelling story of a family. How do you describe to people what the book is about?
Oh.
Well, I think it's both a life story. Cornbread's incredible life. At age 97, he's been playing music in the Twin Cities since World War II, which is just phenomenal in and of itself. He's overcome so much personally in his quest to play music and to entertain people. But it's also a story that started unfolding for me in real time when I started working on it. When I got in touch with Cornbread and said that I was interested in writing a book about him, he had just been reunited for the first time in 50 years with his son, Jimmy Jam, James Harris III. Mm. And I didn't know, my role in the whole thing and how it was going to unfold, but it eventually has led to this 3-year journey that the three of us have been on together of having them in each other's lives again. And it's been amazing to have a front row seat to all that. So in the book, you kind of get taken on this real-time journey of that experience in addition to learning all about Cornbread's past.
And Cornbread, did you enjoy having Andrea come visit you and talk to you about your life? And I mean, you share so many personal stories. Has it been a good experience for you to have it all in a book?
Hey, the book is just too small to get everything in. Oh, man.
But you're happy to be able to share it with all of us.
Well, I could share that little piece of the thing that I got in the book. And I didn't really do very much. I just existed, and this lady came along and said, "Oh, who are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm the Cornbread." And she went nuts. Like,
Okay.
man.
She went nuts. Well, there were reasons to go nuts, as you say, but I do want to hear some of your stories, and we will. But before we do, we want to hear some of your music. So your band members are here with us on stage. How about you play one of your signature songs for us? And I'm told Deeper Blues is one of those signature
That's what
songs.
it's called.
Yeah? Can we hear some of it?
I think the name of the book got part in this here thing here. Okay, people who sitting in with me, pay attention. Come on, help me out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. I hear you.
Deeper Blues. Thank you, Cornbread.
That's the name of the book right there.
Andrea, you did a lot of research for Deeper Blues. In fact, you dug up some facts that Cornbread didn't even know himself. So tell me about some of those discoveries.
It was really such a journey we went on together. It felt like we were digging up his life together. And I think he was reconnecting with parts of his life that were, at this point, 9 decades ago. One moment in particular that I'll never forget is, when we first met, he gave me the names of his parents and his grandparents. And I went digging in the newspaper archives. The Historical Society, Minnesota Historical Society, has some historic black newspapers from the 1920s, which were invaluable for researching Cornbread's life, I found a clipping about his mother when she was a 19-year-old getting tapped to play organ in her church. And it had a little article about her, and it even had a little photo. And on the digital version, I couldn't see anything in the picture, but I ended up going to the microfilm room and going with a librarian and trying to get it all tuned up. And we eventually could see an outline of her face. And to be able to bring that back to Cornbread, I'm going to start crying if I talk about it more.
We should let people know that by the time he was 3 years old, both of his parents had passed.
Yes, yeah. So this was, someone that he'd been thinking about for almost a century, but hadn't seen a photo of because he went through the foster care system for many years of his childhood and didn't end up here in St. Paul with his grandparents until he was about 12. So to be able to bring that and say, here is a picture I found of your mother, it just blew both of us away.
Mm-hmm. And Cornbread being able to see that photo and some other old photos, what did that mean to you? Or what has it meant to have some of those childhood memories come back?
Mm-hmm. Wow. But this lady can really talk, huh? Whew. Goodness.
It's hot out here.
Well, I always depend on other people to speak for me. So where's the book lady?
Andrea, the book lady? Okay.
Cornbread, what was it like for you to look at? Remember, we found a picture of your mother, and we also found a picture where you learned that you'd played the tuba in high school.
Oh, I did that, yeah. That's how come I got this.
It was
he
amazing.
Recalled,
yeah.
He had forgotten he played tuba in high school.
Right.
And when you reminded him of that,
it came back. Yeah, so he said, actually, that might have informed the whole way I play piano. And he hadn't thought about it since he was a teenager. I found a yearbook of the Mechanic Arts High School. Mm-hmm. And there he was in the back row holding a big tuba.
Right.
Well, I got my strong left hand. Then it helps my bass player. The bass player watches my left hand. I said, oh, that's what he's doing.
So his early years growing up in St. Paul, I believe was in the Como neighborhood, right? Not too far from the state fairgrounds. And so
yes.
The early years in St. Paul, we talked about being in the band, but anything else from his childhood that was very exciting for him to rediscover as you work with him?
Well, I went so he went to St. Bernard's for junior high, and we found some of the old class photos. And it was really remarkable to see, I think even as early as maybe age 9, there was a photo of him with his class. Mm-hmm. And his sister was also in the class photos. So that was really special to show him those and to bring back some of those memories of being there. And he still remembered taking piano lessons from the nuns at St. Bernard. So to actually see a picture of one of these nuns that he'd been reminiscing about, that was really incredible.
Cornbread, were you a good student, or did you get in trouble sometimes as a student when you were little?
Trouble? I don't know nothing about no trouble.
I don't know if I believe that. Well, Cornbread's musical career is so long, and it goes through multiple eras. So let's talk a little bit about some of the eras. And from reading the book, my understanding is the first real music break was with one of Minnesota's first rock and roll groups.
Oh, yeah.
The Auggie, Garcia Quintet.
Auggie Garcia was a leader of what we called the Auggie Garcia Quintet, and he wore Bermuda shorts all the time. That was his thing. And he danced on top of the piano when the big piano the top was down, and he would dance up on the piano. And I made a commemorative song about not him dancing, but the club itself. It was a very welcoming place to come to. Very welcoming place. And when you knock on the door, it opened with ease. A lush little miss said, "Come in, please. Do the River Road boogie." Do the river road boogie. Do the river road boogie, boogie all night long. Do the river road boogie. 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 Do the river road boogie, boogie all night long. Yeah. So that's I wrote a song about the river road. See?
We should bring that back, the River Road Boogie. I don't know if I can boogie all night long anymore, though. I don't know. That don't sound fun to me.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there's a story in the book, Cornbread, about the Auggie Garcia Quintet opening for Elvis. I think in the 1950s.
1956.
Elvis Presley came through. Auggie Garcia Quintet played. What happened that night y'all opened for Elvis?
Oh, what happened that I opened for Elvis?
Yeah?
With Auggie?
Yeah.
We blew Elvis away. Man.
You blew it. What do you
Yes,
mean?
we did. Yes, we did. And
Elvis?
His manager came up and said, "Hey, you guys are going to have to get off the stage. You're overshadowing my star guy here." Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
You had some fans.
Yeah. He wasn't a fan, though. He was a fan of the other guy. Who you say he was?
Colonel Parker, the manager.
Who?
Colonel Parker pulled you guys off stage.
Yeah, I know, but who was it he was trying to stick up for?
Elvis Presley.
Elvis.
Oh.
The other guy? Okay. All right. So let's talk about Cornbread's son, also called James Harris, but is known in the music industry as Jimmy Jam, one of the most successful music writers and producers in American history, part of the dynamic duo of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And many of you, some people may know that Cornbread and his son, they were estranged for decades, but during this process of researching this book, Andrea, the book lady, you were able to help bring them back together. So how did that come about?
Oh, good. Talk to her.
I'm going to talk
Pressure's
to her.
off.
She's going to tell us about it.
Well, it all started with a text message from Jimmy. I had met both of them individually and had known them for a few years. Cornbread came in and visited me at NPR. And Jimmy I'd gotten to know through my research into his childhood, basically, and the scene that he came out of. And he reached out to me because he was coming into town and he was wondering if I knew how to get a hold of his dad. And I didn't know the full extent of their estrangement at that point, but it was a really remarkable thing to be asked. And I made some calls and arrangements to get them a meeting so that Jimmy could stop by Cornbreads and pay him a visit. And then a few days later, I got a photo from Jimmy over text, and it was Cornbread and Jimmy's son Max, who at the time was 21, and he said, this was the first time we'd probably talked in maybe 35 years. It's the first time that Cornbread got to meet his grandson, and they were just both so elated to have that opportunity to connect. And I don't think any of us knew that what was going to happen next, that this would be a one-off meeting or if it was going to continue. But as I started working with Cornbread on the book, I reached out to Jimmy and asked if he'd be interested in participating, and he wrote back right away. He invited me to visit him in LA. I went to a Flight Time studio and interviewed him for many, many hours, learning about his memories of his childhood. And then I brought those memories to Cornbread, and we talked about that. And then eventually they got to the point where they wanted to start connecting in real time, and I started hosting Zoom conversations. Now we've had maybe 45, 50 Zoom calls between the two of them so that they can basically just hang out and be in each other's lives.
Cornbread, what was that like, seeing Jimmy after so many years and meeting your grandson Max for the first time?
Wow. But she don't only write a good book, but she talks a lot too. Boy.
There are pictures in the book. I saw the picture when you saw...
A picture?
There are pictures in the book, yeah.
You
no.
seeing Jimmy for the first time.
Did she saw Jimmy for the first time?
When you saw Jimmy.
What was that like when you guys reunited?
Well, I don't know. I was crying the whole time. I was standing there with tears in my eyes. Wow. And it's all the book lady's fault.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You taking the blame? You taking the blame?
All right, I'm going to have you play a song for us again. And I do want to ask you this, though, Cornbread. You and Jimmy, once you reunited, you got to play music again together.
Yeah.
Hook and Ladder in Minneapolis. Cornbread, you and Jimmy were together playing at Hook and Ladder in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
What was that like, playing with Jimmy again?
That was so fantastic, for the lack of a better word. Man, he can play pretty good, that guy.
He is pretty good. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Let's listen to another one of your songs, Cornbread. This is such a story of hope. I would encourage everyone to make an effort to buy the book and read it, Deeper Blues, The Life, Songs, and Salvation of Cornbread Harris. But there is a song, Cornbread, called Never Ending Love Song. Never Ending Love Song. Could we hear that? Would you play that for us? Could you and your band play Never Ending Love for us?
Oh, well, I can't explain too well, but it kind of goes like...
Never-ending love song. What does never-ending love song? What does that mean to you? Never-ending love.
Before I get too far away from there, that never-ending love song, the song just quit, right? But the love keeps coming out. The love is still coming out. Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, now go ahead and speak.
Okay, book lady. In the book, you say that's one of your favorite songs. Why, Andrea?
Well, that's one where, I've had the opportunity to have this front row seat to Cornbread just at his home piano. And so I've seen him play week after week now with me as the audience of one. And it's just such an honor to be so close with him. And there's something so beautiful about that, that connection that he has to the piano. And he really could play that song never ending. I've heard him do 10, 15-minute renditions of it. And it's just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the book, you also talk about, what his weekly schedule is like, and would you share with folks about, how he his support system and how he's still very independent.
He is extremely independent. I visit him at home where he lives with his wife, and he still performs at least once a week, if not twice a week. So he plays Palmer's every Sunday at 5 p.m. with his band. And they also do a couple brunch gigs, one at Ice House, one at Hell's Kitchen throughout the month. And he'll pick up other gigs as well if he's invited to play like he was today. And I just think it's so incredible to think about a 97-year-old gigging more often than most 20-year-olds in the Twin Cities.
How many guys are you talking about?
Just you.
This one guy is doing all of what you're talking?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Do you have a lot of help? You have a lot of band members who help you out?
Oh, well, all I can do is be quiet.
Okay, Andrea, take us through the 1990s, maybe, and give us a recap from the 90s on, and also, as a younger man, Cornbread had a day job, and there was sort of this. The book talks about this battle between, providing financially for our family, and then also pursuing this passion for music.
Absolutely. That's been a core tension woven throughout Cornbread's life. And he, for many years, held down not just a day job at American Hoist and Derrick, but also side gigs in addition to being a professional musician, which would sometimes require, multiple nights a week of being out. I found some clippings from the 60s when Jimmy was a young boy where Cornbread was playing a Sunday afternoon gig that went from 4 to 10 p.m. every Sunday. So you can imagine the commitment that takes to continue, devoting to music. But in the 90s, he retired, and he suddenly had all this time to devote to his love of music. And he got a house gig down at Nikki's Cafe in the North Loop, which is where a lot of people saw him for the first time performing as Cornbread Harris. He also played at the Loring Bar on Loring Park.
Oh, wow.
And it was through these recurring gigs, and then he became the house musician on one of the river boats, the Anson Northrop riverboat that departs from Harriet Island. He started meeting all of these people, and then he'd get booked to play their weddings and their bar mitzvahs and their birthday parties, and he was suddenly just performing all the time and really winning people over, one room at a time.
And what is it? Cornbread, if I were to come out to Palmer's Bar, what is that like for the audience? What are those shows like when you're there on Sunday night at Palmer's?
Oh, I played there a few times, and they hooked me up for life. They said, hey, you got to come down here every Sunday. Every Sunday you got to come down here to this club. And so I've been doing it for a few years now. And I go to regular church on Sunday morning, and then Sunday evening I do the Cornbread Church. Yeah.
What kinds of songs do you play on Sunday nights? Do you take requests, or is there a song that you really like to play that's popular at Palmer's?
Oh, Palmer's? Well, since it's Sunday, I usually play. Can my drummer help me out?
Amazing Grace, they're saying. Amazing Grace is a popular song. Request?
I think it goes like this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, and now I am found. Was blind, but now I can see. Amazing sweetest song. This is the best, like me. I said I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, now I can see. Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Amazing Grace.
Oh.
All right, I have in my notes here, Cornbread, that you still teach piano lessons. You teach piano lessons?
This what I teach?
Piano lessons.
Do I give piano lessons?
Yeah, do you teach?
I certainly do. My students are famous out there in the world. The man, I don't know what it is, but they like the way the Cornbread plays. They said, "Oh, I want to learn that." I said, "Okay."
That takes a lot of patience to teach, right? Yeah.
I think it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Especially when somebody gets something wrong 50 times.
Oh, wow. Well, you got to have patience. That's how you learn. Well, we have another guest we can invite onto the stage. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Is it Jayanta? Jayanti. Yes, Jayanti Kyle is here, a young musician in her own right. You say hi, Cornbread. Say hello. She's here. Probably best known for her song "Hand in Hand," which has become the unofficial anthem for the Black Lives Matter movement here in Minnesota. Thanks for being here. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. What an honor.
Wow. Oh.
What an honor. I love Elder Cornbread so much. Good morning. Good morning.
So, you not only have a special relationship with Cornbread because he's been a mentor to you, but some of your kids are students of his. Tell me what that's like having a lesson with him.
Well, actually, we had to stop taking lessons because one night he said, "I'm actually double booked tonight."
Oh, what?
And he said, "So can you please take me to my gig?" So the whole family, we took him to his gig, and it was at Palmer's. And it was like during the pandemic that that we started taking lessons from him. He let us take lessons from him in his home. And a few weeks in, I asked him, "How is your wife feeling? How is the household feeling about the lessons?" And he said, "I'm glad you asked because she does not want that." And he said, "But could you pick me up and bring me to your home? And I'll give the lessons there." And I said, "Yes, of course." And I said, "But will she be upset?" He said, "Well, sometimes when people get upset, they'll find anything to be upset about." I said, "Shoot." And I said, "Well, we would love to have you." He said, she's going to be surprised that because she said, "No, they'll never do that." And we would bring him over every Sunday night to the house. We'd pick him up from the north side, bring him to the south side of Minneapolis, and he would give each family member, all of my children, about a half-hour lesson.
And how old were the kids at that time? What's the age span?
They were about 13, 14, 9, and 3.
Wow. Patience.
Yeah.
And then what about you? How has he been a mentor to you in your musical career?
Well, I like to watch how he sustains himself and try to learn a few things. One thing that I noticed is he has an awesome sense of humor. He does like his programs, his certain programs. Maybe he likes Young and the Restless a little bit.
Young and the Restless. I do too. All right.
But following a story, just how that can sustain you to follow and keep relationships with characters or, like what you like and have your ways of doing things. And he just, when he has pleasure, he really leans into it. And I really appreciate that he's got the joy down in his heart.
Well,
Yeah.
we do appreciate the joy in his heart, and it's contagious. So I have another song I want to request, if that's okay. This song, Cornbread Harris, Cornbread, would you play for us this song? Because I think it's a theme we can all relate to. We heard a little bit of it at the beginning. Put the world back together. Can we hear Put the World Back Together? Dan?
had enough debate. I hear someone say, let's wait. Why don't we get together before it's way too late to put the world back together? Put the world back together. Put the world back together again. Right in the country sounds insane. Smell your polluted water, feel your acid rain. When you cut down your trees, you don't plant them back again. Put the world back together. Put the world back together. Back together. Put the world back together. Come on with it. Put the world back together. Put the world back together. World back together. One more time. The world back together. Put the world.
Very nice. I want to say thank you to Cornbread Harris and his band. Thank you, Jayanthi. Thank you to Andrea Swenson, who wrote the book on this special man. You can find Deeper Blues wherever you get your books. And if you want more of Cornbread's music, you want to hear more of his music, Andrea has pressed a vinyl anthology of Cornbread Harris. You can look for a link to that on my show page on our website, nprnews.org. And thanks to everybody who listened and joined us today. This has been a State Fair edition, a special edition of North Star Journey Live. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yay. Hip, hip. Yay. Hip, hip.